Tonight we bring you the remarkable story of Brad Margus, a family man, a successful businessman, driven to find a cure for a rare disease threatening his children. His extraordinary career and that search have taken him from small business owner to the cutting edge of genetic research. Brad Margus's career started at a shrimping company in Boca Raton, Florida.
It's a pretty tough business, low margins, and we had about 1,200 people worldwide, very labor-intensive business, not high-tech, not glamorous, not typical for a Harvard MBA to go into the shrimp business, but shrimp was pretty good to me.
So was life, success, a beautiful wife, 3 sons in 3 years, but then a devastating turn. Something was wrong with their second son, Jarrett.
Around the age of 2, Jarrett started being wobbly and not really stable in his walk, and had a little bit slurred speech.
After countless doctors treated Jarrett, he still wasn't getting better.
It was kind of assumed it was probably a one-time birth defect or something, random thing, don't worry about it. Shortly after that, our third son started to show the same symptoms, exactly the same symptoms, so we knew it wasn't a random birth defect.
The Marguses learned both their sons have a rare genetic disease, ataxia telangiectasia, or AT. AT is a progressively degenerative disease for which there is no known cure. AT forced Jarrett and Quinn into wheelchairs in the prime of their youth. And with only 500 AT cases in the entire country, there was little research taking place.
To me, it seemed obscene that just because the disease was really rare, first-rate science and first-rate research couldn't be done on it.
With no background in science, Margus founded the AT Children's Project, starting a cell and tissue bank, raising money, booking medical conferences, and testifying before Congress about the disease. Margus pursued the top geneticist at Stanford, David Cox, to oversee the research board. Cox tried to say no.
He said, let's talk about why you can't. You know, all I need you for is, you know, your brilliant mind and your honest, candid advice, you know. And by the end of that hour, he said, okay, he'll do it.
Through research funded by the AT Children's Project, the mutated DNA that causes the disease was mapped, a huge scientific breakthrough. Clinical trials were held for new drugs, but failed. Undeterred, the Children's Project work continued. Margus was recruited to run several biotech startups in the high-tech boom at the turn of the century. This time, it was Cox who convinced Margus to come with him. Leaving shrimp behind, Margus would commute 3,000 miles a week to California to run Perlogen, a company on the cutting edge of DNA research. Perlogen makes chips that examine DNA strands faster and cheaper than its competition, and focuses on why drugs work in some patients and not in others. It is also the leader in research of the genetic causes of more common illnesses like diabetes and cardiovascular disease.
What I know is that this at last may help genetics come through on all the stuff that's been promised over the years.
Margus needs no reminder of those promises. Even while at Perlogen, he has not backed off from his work with the AT Children's Project, hoping to find a cure for Jarrett and Quinn.
They haven't asked too much about their future. That's really tough to answer if they do. But I think they still believe that Dad can do it. I just hope I can not let them down.
Brad Margus, an extraordinary man and a fellow facing extraordinary challenges with great grace. Jim Citron is here, and Jim, this is a remarkable story.
If any of us think we have it hard, we just have to look at what Brad has gone through and what he's done. It's really extraordinary.
The idea that he can contend and challenge with all of these issues, his career, his children threatened by the diseases the disease that is amongst those that his company is researching. Is there any good news to report in terms of progress in that search?
Well, my understanding is that the AT Children's Project has made unbelievable advances. They found the gene. They've developed some laboratory animals that have developed the disease and are working on tests for it, and they've done it faster than other traditional foundations. And it's just an amazing story of what AT has done.
And Margus, as he meets these challenges, it's still fascinating to me that a man would move from Harvard Business School to shrimping to biotech. That speaks volumes about both his independent character and nature, and also a remarkable skill set.
It is. Brad, no one would have voted Brad in the class of 1986 at Harvard most likely to succeed. But what he did, he followed one of the patterns that we talk about in the book. Something we call the permission paradox. How do you get access when you have no experience? He recruited David Cox, and that gave him the credibility, and with that, and with the passion of a father, he went out and built credibility for AT and got research collaborating all over the world.
And again, one of the remarkable stories, one of the men and women who have pursued extraordinary careers and built extraordinary lives.
Oh my goodness.
Jim Citron, we thank you, and we'll see you here tomorrow night.
Thanks, Lou.